That shadow in the corner of your eye, was it really there? Is it there? Join us today on Speaking with Spirits as we discuss shadow people.
Yeah, we're speaking with Jim Beam Peach Spirits tonight, everybody. So,
Yeah, the slight change in the intro there. We've all had a day, so we are with spirits.
It's been a day, like Katie pointed out, full moon, retrograde, and every single one of us had a crazy day. So we needed a little alcohol today to get through this. But it's one of my favorite topics.
It's a fun topic for sure. A lot of fun stuff with it.
Shadow people's kind of bananas. I mean, if you've ever had one in your life, I had one associated with my old house.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, you saw it. Mm-hmm. And everybody who was ever at my house saw the shadow guy. And so let's discuss what they are. Are they ghosts? Are they energy? You have some thoughts on that, Mark.
You know, that's kind of hard because I haven't really got a specific definition of a shadow person. And I think there's so many different ways the way they show up from different stories I've heard. You know, sometimes they are just there.
Yeah.
You know, they don't really interfere with people. They don't really cause problems. They're just there. Some of them got a really negative personality.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard, to really narrow down to come up with a specific definition of this is a shadow person. This is what this type of entity does. This are the characteristics of this entity and that kind of stuff. And as I was mentioning earlier, depending on, where the individual is, as people's abilities start to develop, when people start developing the ability to see things, everything shows up as a shadow.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people will say, oh, well, I'm seeing shadow people. And I'm like, well, congratulations.
Yeah.
That's great.
Welcome
that means you're developing. Yeah.
Here's your card.
So, yeah. Here's your card. Welcome to the club.
So do you think it's just a lump sum category that everything's lumped into?
I think that is one of them. In that area, it's kind of like demons where I saw a shadow, so it's a shadow person. Maybe not. There could be a lot of variances there. So.
Yeah, a lot of people think that they are demonic.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know. I see a lot of different theories around this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, one that kind of threw me for a loop is there's a theory about astral projection. Have you guys seen that one?
Yeah. Actually, the person who's projecting themselves is the shadow?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's amazing how everything goes back to astral projection.
I know, right?
I swear it does, though.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. You leave your body behind and then you're projecting and...
That is, that would make sense, though.
That does make sense.
I mean, if you're somewhere seeing something...
Yeah, so essence of people who are having an out-of-body experience, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe that's it. I'm not sure with the shadow guy, Harold... at my old house. So...
Wait, did you
name
Harold?
I named him Harold.
Oh, he just looked like
Can I ask
Harold.
a question first?
Yeah.
Was it before, during, or after your uncle?
After.
After? Okay.
Yeah. Never put that together.
Yeah.
That That's
I do what I can
context.
do.
Well, that kind of creeps me out a little bit when I tell you this story, though.
Yay! I'm glad I asked the question right now.
It's spooky season.
Yeah,
Time
actually,
for a
that would
spooky
creep me
story.
out if I thought it was him because. So, Harold, when we first bought the house, I saw Harold everywhere, darting around the house like really, really fast. Then he started slowing down and he would make noise. He would walk. You could hear him physically walking through the house, and the animals would hear him walking through the house. And I finally got to the point where it's like, Harold, go to bed. I need my sleep, go to bed. And he'd walk up and down the hall. Like, other member of the team, Bob, he would stay in the guest bedroom, and it freaked him out so bad the first night that he left the house. He's like, he just stared at me, and I'm like, well, dude, you're a paranormal investigator. Why is this a problem? He's like, it freaked me
Stare back.
out. I
Yeah.
know. I'm like, tell him to get the hell out of your bedroom. You know, but Harold was responsive, and he would listen to me. If I would say, hey, knock it off, leave the cat alone, whatever, he would. It took him a couple of years to actually follow me to the barn, which I thought was interesting. He was never outside. But the more things developed on that property, the more he almost seemed protective of me. And there was things going on there that he needed to be protective of me about, human-wise. And so Harold got really protective of me. But here's the weird thing. So this is where it creeps me out if I thought it was my uncle. So my bathroom was upstairs next to it was a small house. They're old houses, you know, you don't have like the master suite. So the bathroom was upstairs in the hallway. And I'm getting ready to go in the shower. My ex-husband's bathroom was downstairs. That's where he preferred to. And I'm getting ready to get in the shower, and I had this like smack on my bottom, and I turned around thinking it was ex-husband to smack him away, like, get away from me, you know, I leave me alone. No one was there. And I came uncorked like you would, like, I'm like, get the out of here, Harold, get out of this bathroom, blah, blah, blah. And the door slammed. Boom.
Oh, no.
Uh-huh. And never did that happen again, but I'm like, made it, no, you do not ever touch me, that kind of thing. But the door slammed, and even Bruce was like, who are you yelling at? He thought maybe a dog pooped in the house or something, you know? I'm like, no, Harold. I was yelling at Harold. So, yeah, so that creeps me out if it was Uncle Jim, you know? But no, so Harold was, everybody saw him. Some people saw him with a hat. I would and wouldn't. Sometimes he didn't have a hat, like a wide-brimmed hat, like an old-fashioned wide-brimmed hat. But the animals all reacted to him. They all saw him.
Yeah.
I never felt he was negative. That's why it could be the fact that, or maybe some shadow people just can't find the energy to become fully formed.
Well, you bring up another great subject dealing with this. Was it some kind of protector?
And that's kind of what I felt he was.
Because sometimes we all have, you know, some type of protection entity with us. And for a lot of them, the example I use is the U.S. Secret Service when they're protecting the president. 99% of the time, you never see them.
Right.
You don't know they're there.
Till they open their eyes,
Yeah,
and then it's too late.
Yeah, and then something happens and suddenly they're everywhere.
Everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of our protection entities are like that. They're just kind of with us, but we never see them. We never know them until they need to go into protection mode. Then they will, for lack of a better term, boost up their power.
So
Then
why,
we have a better chance of seeing them, experiencing them
yeah,
at that point.
if he was a protector, and I think he was a male, and I think most people think shadow people are male. I don't know why. Maybe size and stature, because he was big, 7 foot kind of guy. But
Perfectly acceptable size, for the record.
why would everybody else see him?
Well,
Because you saw him. Everybody who was at the house saw him.
Well, again, it depends on what he was protecting you from. You said there was a lot there for him to protect you.
Yeah.
So he could have been full energy
Oh, that's true.
a lot.
Yeah.
But what makes you think he was a shadow person and not just...
He was just always showed himself in shadow. He was always a shadow. He was never a fully formed, like, khaki pants, white shirt kind of guy. He was completely dark.
See, and I'm just a level 1 ghost hunter in the room here. That's all I've ever seen. I've never seen, like, the only time that I can really think of that I've kind of seen a face, and I didn't really, it was shadowy, but I took a picture, was when we were at the Yellowstone.
Oh,
But that was it. Any other time, it's like corner of the eye, shadow thingy. I don't
yeah.
have, like, clear pictures.
And I think most people do see them out of the corner, the peripheral vision, kind of the darting shadow kind of thing. And that's how he started.
Bizarre.
That's how he started. It was always like the corner of my eye in the living room, kind of like, I just saw that, didn't I?
So give us your definition between a shadow guy and another apparition, for lack of a better
Or,
term.
yeah, something else.
Yeah. 'Cause
I don't.
like
I
Harold-
guess I don't have one. I always put them in their own category. They are a shadow being.
Now, that's interesting because a lot of reports of shadow beings are very tall.
Yeah, he was very.
about
He was
7 feet tall,
He
yeah.
was very tall. My ex-husband was a tall guy. He was much taller, and without giving too much personal detail, the more I needed the protection of the shadow, or the more I needed something to help me with what was happening there, the more active he got.
So he was some kind of a
I
protector
think
then.
so. What?
I don't know. To me, like, shadow person is like non-gendered, just a manifestation of energy.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I kind of wonder if Harold was a subconscious manifestation that you created because you needed it.
Oh, that could be.
Because
But why
the
would everybody else see
stronger-
him? So, oh, and Tim is tearing apart the Dane studio again.
Tim had too much whiskey.
Good thing that I bought that light.
We can fix that.
So I don't know. It's so all right. Let's say poltergeists, right? Without getting too off topic, are our own we create those. But let's go with this train of thought. If a shadow person was somebody, like if Harold was something that I created, because he certainly didn't move with me, but he
got
He could have
stronger
been.
the
He
more
could
you
have
needed
moved.
it.
Yeah, he could have moved with me to the cabin when I lived there after the house that Harold was at. There was a shadow person there, but I didn't feel like it was the same guy.
And didn't you say you thought it was like in park service?
Yes.
Someone who lived there before?
Yes. So,
Sorry.
okay, Tim has had way too much whiskey.
Just
So-
chug the bottle over there.
Either that or not
So,
enough. Have
but
another
if
one,
it-
Tim.
Yeah, if we manifest a shadow dude, why would anybody else see him? Like once you create the energy's there. Is that the
I think energy is accessible for everyone to be seen.
okay?
It's not like this is my energy.
Can I have
you
a
can't
proposal?
see it.
What?
So remember how we're going to the Enders at 24th and we were looking for an experiment for channeled stuff? Since you're
Oh.
familiar with...
This is like, what's that topic we did about the...
We're all silent.
Yeah.
Which one?
We've done a
Which
lot.
you've done a lot of talking.
No, the one about people manifesting like,
Oh, I missed that one. I wish I was here for that. There's a lot in that category
you know what I'm talking about.
that I can talk
though.
about, yes. But you can manifest an entity. If one person believes in it strong enough, or if enough people believe in the same entity strong enough,
Yeah.
you can actually, at a certain point, that belief energy can hit a tipping point and create that entity.
Well, since... And that's why I bring it up. Since Bob and you and Mark, you're familiar with that particular one. Maybe that's the one to shoot for.
Well, we certainly can. He was very active.
You know?
Some people think that shadow people are time travelers. Like they're bouncing around between dimensions.
Just snazzy dressers.
Yeah. Well, the Men in Black. So, but I don't know if I don't know. I did have my own experience with that dimensional thing that was freaking weird, but I don't know. I haven't put a whole lot of thought into could they be somebody who's jumping around between dimensions.
Well,
This is energy? Or?
that's an interesting thing
Yeah.
about shadow people. The topic is, again, what are we talking, again, if somebody having an out-of-body experience is, it stands to theory that there could be some aspect of them there that could show up as a shadow.
Right.
Somebody bouncing between dimensions, so a time traveler,
Yeah.
could show up as a shadow. A protection entity,
Right.
when needed, would be seen as a shadow.
Well, some theorists say that these dimensions exist parallel and very close to our own, although invisible to us. So these beings are inhabitants of these other dimensions, and when they jump, they're only partially visible. Like in their dimension, they look like us, but when they're jumping or shifting, that they're only in shadow, and that's why they can interact, because they really are human in another dimension. So I don't know.
Maybe that's why they're 7 feet tall. Maybe they expand when they.
Oh yeah, right. Well, at least they're not like
Easier
going
to
to
travel
pieces
that
like
way,
on
yeah.
Star Trek, right?
For anyone confused, you should probably watch Spider-Man.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time with that one, but maybe other people believe that they're aliens. I mean, a lot of things boil back down to aliens
Aliens and astral projection.
and astral projection.
Maybe that's the two categories.
Well,
is
it's-
it alien? Is it astral projection?
Could be both. Maybe.
Okay,
Well,
that'll be the
another
third
interest-
category.
The interesting thing about everything in the paranormal is that if you can't identify it, it's either a demon or an alien.
Right.
So,
Or Steve.
or Steve.
Well,
Could be Steve.
isn't it Carl in the military? We used Carl for everything. He was the scapegoat. Poor
Yeah, we
Carl.
had a Carl too.
Yeah, everybody's got a Carl.
Damn, Carl.
Damn Carl.
Carl was always messing everything
and the
up.
reason why they say aliens, is that abductees with alien abductions say that they watched aliens move through walls. Like they can just through a wall. And so they're wondering if a shadow person, since they seem to they can move through things, that it's an alien. That's why. I mean, there is that link there, but I don't know.
Well, they're shadow. They're not solid. They can
Right,
move
exactly.
through anything
They
they,
can move
want
through
to.
anything.
Yeah.
And he did slam the door, so he also has the ability. They have the ability to move. To have that much energy to cause something. I know when he was really, 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 really active, would be a really bad night in our house, and like he would be stomping up and down. And it was almost a trigger for me. So I knew when Harold was really active that I had to be very careful. And the cats would be under the bed. And all the animals were... It's like everybody knew. Everybody knew this was going to be a bad night. And Harold was... So I think, yeah, you're right. It was kind of a protective, like, hey, watch your back kind of thing. So that kind of thing. I don't know. It's kind of an interesting... to me, they're just a complete separate being. They're not a ghost. They're not a spirit. They're an energy. I never felt him as negative. I've seen other shadows. I've seen shadows a lot when we investigate. I've never really felt him as negative. I feel energy as negative, but I've never felt negativity from the shadow.
Well, that kind of comes down to the question then. Is there a specific definition
Yeah.
of a shadow person?
I don't know.
Is there a particular type of entity with certain characteristics, abilities, consistency,
Right.
so that when you hear somebody tell a story, you can easily say, oh, that is a shadow person.
Maybe they have to be 7 foot tall,
Yeah.
long golden.
That's one of the
locks,
requirements.
Lots of feel goods.
Yeah, you got to have some altitude. That's one of the requirements.
Well, so this website that I was looking at, of course, if you look at 50 different websites, you're going to get 50 different ideas. So this is liveabout.com. And they're talking about how there's no way to prove or disprove a shadow person. Well, there's really no way to prove or disprove a haunting. I mean, we have meters, we have all kinds of stuff that can prove energy shifts, and we get voices, and we do get things. We do get stuff, and sometimes we get photographs, and we definitely got the thermals. But, it's not reproducible.
Right.
I can't go back down to the Andrews Hotel every single time I'm there and get those 3 people we were talking to on my thermal. They may not be there that day.
They may not be there, no.
Right.
You
So
may have
that's-
3 different people.
Yeah. or none.
Or you might have 5 different people next time from.
Right. So that's why
I just think it's hard to define. And I think there's crossover because I don't think I've ever seen a true shadow person as just a manifestation of energy, but I've definitely seen things manifest themselves as shadows, but I don't think it's shadow people. You know what I'm saying? Like when we were at that house, when we took Lou,
yes.
and I saw that shadow downstairs.
Right.
It manifested as a shadow. I fully believe it was a young man, but I don't think that was a shadow person at all.
It was just the way he was manifesting at that time.
Like I think there's a difference, and I think you can feel that difference.
So there's a website called shadowpeople.org where they collect. It was kind of interesting because they collect stories of people who have seen shadows from all over. So there's kind of interesting to go through people's stories and the similarities of the stories. That most people, some people think they're gender neutral, but most people describe them as male, and I think that could be the size. I don't know, but generally lacking any other characteristics of gender other than size, and there's hooded shadows, cloaked shadows, solid, wispy, smoky shadows, but a lot of people see him with the hat and a wide-brimmed hat. I find that fascinating.
bizarre.
And that's exactly how he showed up to me. It was wide-brimmed every time.
Dude, what if it's just one shadow person?
So at least we're starting to get a definition and a lock-in of what is a shadow person.
Some are seen only from the waist up. Others clearly have legs that are seen fleeing from their observers. I saw them complete.
Fleeing?
Fleeing from observers, like running. As soon as they're seen, they're gone. And they'll see their legs. They dart into corners, through walls, into closets, behind TV sets, bushes, and buildings. Sometimes they simply fade into the dark recesses of the night. That's interesting. And they're intensely dark. And that's what I would see. It was like, you cannot... He looked so dark, he was solid. But not solid. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, that's kind of how you see him, is it tends to absorb all the light.
Remember that
everything around
basement
him.
we went into where...
I certainly do.
Yes.
Tim is like, yes.
Tim was there on that
my
one.
brain.
So there was a basement that we shined. They had halogen work lights because they were remodeling this house, and there was a corner of the basement that even with the halogen lights, it could not illuminate.
So
And it
weird.
wasn't that big a house.
Yeah,
It wasn't like a 40-foot away basement.
We used every light we could get,
Yeah,
and it wouldn't illuminate the corner.
What
But
it,
it didn't have a shape. It was just in the
just
corner.
a
Well,
dark mass.
it was interesting because we would take the work light and we would focus it on one corner of the basement, and we could see the far corner fine. We could see, where the cement met. We could see the junction there, the crack where the two walls came together. We would then turn the light and put it on the other corner, and we couldn't see the corner.
Yeah,
Something in there was absorbing all of the light.
absorbing all the light.
It was
It
dark.
was going that day. Yeah.
Like, not
And
like there's an obstruction. It's like, can't see it.
Yeah, and there was like something, in the way. So
Right.
we could not see that corner.
And it
of
was
the
a
basement.
small house. It was a really small house in Old Town, and so we're not. Like what, 800 square feet?
Yeah, it was tiny. Well, that
It
was the
was a
thing. From
really-
where we were standing, we were about the same distance to both corners.
Yeah, we were in the middle of the basement. So there was definitely something there. There was something there, and the energy shift was so dramatic that I got sick to my stomach and had to walk out. As soon as I cleared the house, I was fine. Sickness went away. But I was queasy. So there was something there. So, are there spiritual explanations for shadow people? Animalian.com says that there are spiritual, along with scientific explanations for shadow people. Some believe shadow people exist in another realm of existence and only make momentary appearances in human world. Some say shadow people are guardian angels, while other feels they are demonic. There are theories that shadow people are created by the subconscious mind, where you were going, Kate.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And briefly manifest into a visible apparition. One spiritual explanation can be found in the mythology of the Cherokee tribe. Thought this was interesting. A particular legend tells of a witch called the Raven Mocker, At first, the witch transforms into a bird and then becomes a shadowy human-like figure. These beings are believed to steal the souls of those facing illness and death. Families request the service of a shaman to protect the alien loved ones. The Raven Mocker will not enter a home if the shaman is present, and thus the soul is safe. The shadow beings also show up in the Islamic faith. They're known as the jinn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's believed that the jinn can see humans, but themselves are invisible. Jinn are very similar to humans in that they have responsibilities such as jobs and families. They also face consequences for their actions. If the jinn with good intentions as well, there are jinn with evil agendas. So if you're in the Islamic faith and you believe you're being harmed by a malicious jinn, they engage in prayer and other religious practices to protect themselves. But I had no idea that they showed up as that in that Islamic faith.
See, now that's interesting because a lot of the stuff that I read, the Islamic version of a demon is a jinn.
Yeah. Yeah, so they wouldn't be good.
I don't know enough, but I don't know how big of a range the jinns cover, because it also sounds like they can do, jinns can work with people, to help them achieve goals or stuff like that. So I don't know. I think jinn might just be another category that covers a very wide range of...
I always thought of jinn as being demonic, too. So I don't know.
I always thought they were genies.
Oh. So...
Some of them are, depending on who you talk.
Yeah, right.
Other people believe it's pareidolia, right? The human mind making shapes, but I know for a fact that is not the case with what I saw.
Well, one of the interesting things is with a lot of the sightings of shadow people is that they do try to avoid human. They go away. Mm-hmm. Or try to go back and hide, go back into the shadows, right. Getting away from humans. So they're not coming after people.
Yeah, and then we had the last topic, one of our last topics was hypnagogia, which I always say it wrong, hypnagogia.
And then the other word.
Oh, yeah, that other one that I can't remember right now.
Go back and listen.
Yeah. Then that it's that dream state, but we're fully awake. I mean, he's made an appearance at dinner parties, so it wasn't barbecues.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was, no. And other people believe it's just attributed to LSD and different drugs, and no, that wasn't the case at my house, so... Well, at least
nobody
with
around
me.
here make that kind of money. I don't know.
So, yeah, I don't know. Laboratory testing has indicated electromagnetic fields can disrupt the function of the brain's temporal lobes. So if there's an interference in your house electromagnetically, it can create hallucinations. And that they believe that shadow people are a result of these hallucinations, but I don't believe that either. So,
wouldn't that be easy to disprove, though?
Yeah, right?
You can just plug that little thingy in to see if your house is grounded or not.
Exactly. And we've done that with houses and said, well, most of your problems right here are because your house isn't grounded properly. And then once they have somebody out to fix that, the issues go away.
Throw some salt over your shoulder and put some copper in the ground.
Done.
Yeah, we got a lot of houses here that are not grounded either, so...
Yeah.
In this area, that's a thing.
Yeah.
So I've sold some houses this last year. And one of the houses I was trying to sell, 3/4 of the outlets tested as grounded, and the other quarter did not.
Weird.
Yeah, I crawled all over a crawl space, and finally I called the whatever.
The electrician.
The electrician guy. Well, the guy who looks at the house.
The inspector.
The inspector. There's the word I'm looking for. And I said, have you ever seen this before? And he said, no, never. And I said, what are you willing to do to not see this ever again?
That is weird.
Yeah, it's good times.
So, I don't know. Do you ever experience it, Kay? Like shadow people?
Not shadow people, no.
No. Okay.
Just regular dead people.
Just regular dead people. Dead Uncle Fred.
Regular dead people, not shadow dead people.
Well, it was kind of funny because one of our past episodes, Tim was talking about the things that dead bodies do.
Yes.
And one of our podcast listeners, happened to be listening to that podcast driving back from Salt Lake City, and they said they came back to us on our Facebook site and quoted the things that dead bodies do, and said they laughed all the way back to Pocatello about that. So
Dead bodies do dead body things, I think is what Tim said. Yes.
Something like that. It was pretty funny. But
You're
anyway.
Every once in a while.
Sounds good, man. All right, thank you for joining us today on Speaking with Spirits today. As we discussed shadow people, are they protectors? Are they other entities? Are they their own section? Tell us what you think. Let us know. Thank you for joining us today, and hope to see you on our next podcast. You've been listening to Speaking of Spirits, powered by Pocatello Paranormal Research in Pocatello, Idaho. Thank you for joining us today. We're glad you could be here. If you're enjoying the podcast, please do us a favor and go to whatever platform you are listening to the podcast on and give us a review. We prefer the 5-star reviews. This helps us know how we're doing, and it helps others to find the podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you on our next podcast.
Ha 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 ha.